XRP millionaires, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here today. XRP just broke down to even. It was up pretty much all day, with the end of today coming to an end here in 1 hour and 43 minutes. We're now at a break-even point. So obviously right now we are looking for that push back up to that 55-cent level that we experienced on September 23rd, having a little bit of a rejection here. We're going to be doing some deeper charting coming soon. I wanted to go ahead and let you know what's going on in today's video. So we will be talking about Bitcoiner claims to have found long lost Satoshi Bitcoin code with personal notations. This is going to be really cool, very interesting read. Going to find out, like, for those of you that are into crypto as a whole, you do want to know more about the history of Bitcoin and all of it, right? So what is this information? We will be covering that in today's video. Also in today's video, why the US is one of the most crypto-friendly countries in the world. We'll go ahead and discuss that in today's video, and into some XRP news. Really great stuff here. XRP flashes ultra bullish signal as Cardano's Hoskinson throws the weight behind Ripple in the SEC case. So I'm interested to see what Hoskinson said. I actually did not read through this article yet, so I'm very excited to learn and see what happened with you guys here today. And then also, XRP Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal believes that court case will get resolved positively. And if you've been following the court case, we obviously agree with this as well. In fact, it's looking very, very bullish for XRP. They continuously won every single step of the way through the actual case. SEC kept on making very, very horrible errors because they didn't have a case to bring against XRP in the first place. We do know XRP is down hundreds of million, or sorry, Ripple. Remember, this is Ripple is the company that is being sued by SEC, but XRP is the one that's being held up because of the case. We do know a lot of that happened. So anyway, Ripple will win this. SEC is going down. Ripple has paid hundreds of millions of dollars to try and win this case, and it looks like they will be resolved positively. We'll get the insight from Real Vision's Raoul Pal in this article today. So if you're new here, hey, my name is Ryan Huggins, and I'm a crypto and real estate investor here in Southern California. And my job is to help be your crypto shortcut. If you're like most people, you probably don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day reading through articles, going through headlines, looking at the charts all day, reading YouTube or watching YouTube. But that is what I do. That's my job here on this channel, and I bring that information to you in a condensed manner. So if you're looking for a crypto shortcut, smash that subscribe button. Jumping in here, Bitcoiner claims to have found the long-lost Satoshi Bitcoin code with personal notations. According to Jim Blasco, he was able to uncover raw data and files from Bitcoin version 0.1, including notations from Satoshi Nakamoto using a little browser hacking. Jim Blasco, a crypto enthusiast, has claimed to have unearthed the official oldest known uploaded copy of Satoshi's Bitcoin code, originally uploaded in August of 2009. Can you imagine have been able to buy the Bitcoin? Like, if you would have known as soon as it came out how exciting your whole entire life would be right now, if you would have been able to invest $1,000 at inception. Craziness. In October 7th post on Facebook, Blasco said that he had found code dating back prior to the earliest days Satoshi went public in Bitcoin, and that right now Bitcoin being at 19,327, by using some browser hacking on open source software development platform SourceForge when the cryptocurrency was registered in November of 2008. He included claims that it took the BTC creator 6 months to mine 1 million coins, as block 2000 wouldn't come until early July 22nd, 2009, and others like Hal Finney were also mining. So this is really interesting. If you know now, people are mining Bitcoin at a very consistent pace, way, way smaller timeframes than this, but the computing power back then was not quite what it is now. And it's really cool because it took him 6 months to mine 1 million coins. This particular upload was thought to have been lost for at least 10 years, but after doing research on some old coins I made, I went to SourceForge, and with a little browser hacking, I found the lost Bitcoin volume 0.1 raw data files, said Blasco. Since 2012, it was thought that the raw code and the files were gone as they had been scraped from the SourceForge search engine for some reason. I did some digging and I was able to find the original code. According to the two SourceForge links provided by Blasco, Satoshi's personal notations included remarks on why Bitcoin used base 58 instead of standard base 64 encoding, and questioned what to do about errors in the future. And here's one of those notations here. If we did not receive the transaction directly, we rely on blocks time to figure out when it happened. We use the median over a range of blocks to try to filter out inaccurate block times. And also here, why base 58 instead of standard 64 encoding? Don't want this characters that look the same in some fonts and could be used to create visually identical looking account numbers. A string with non-alphanumeric characters is not as easily accepted as an account number. Email usually won't line break if there's no punctuation to break at, and double-clicking selects the whole number as one word if it's all alphanumeric. So they didn't want to use 0 and O, I and L. The first Bitcoin block, the Genesis block as it's called, was mined on January 3rd, 2009, following Satoshi releasing the cryptocurrency white paper in 2008. Satoshi's identity continues to be a source of speculation among many in the space, with the synonymous creator being remembered with status, papers, memes, and non-fungible tokens. And as they note here, Cointelegraph was unable to verify the authenticity of Blasco's claims at the time of publication. The story may be updated. So there is so much mystery surrounding Bitcoin, surrounding Satoshi Nakamoto. Some people think it's one guy. Some people think it's a group of people. Some people think this, that, and the other. Let me know down in the comments, who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is? Also down in the comments, if you guys are getting value from these videos, make sure you comment 777. Let me know you feel the actual value coming from it. We love to see the love down in the comments section. Why the US is one of the most crypto-friendly countries in the world. The United States is making strides on crypto regulation, and it's home to the largest number of Bitcoin and Ethereum nodes in the world. It's fair to say the United States is one of the most crypto-friendly countries in the world. It ranks #1 in the quantity of Bitcoin Ethereum nodes, and regulators have taken a particular interest in the subject. In September, the administration of President Joe Biden released a series of federal reports addressing how crypto might be regulated in the years ahead. Blockchain adoption is part of these reports. The Office of Science and Technology indicated that the government has a responsibility to protect communities from the negative impacts of pollution and climate change caused by cryptocurrencies. President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act is America's largest ever investment in greenhouse gas emission reduction, clean energy, and climate resilience. It sets aside the $370 billion for infrastructure or incentives such as green energy tax credits intended to spark the large-scale development of clean energy technology and further electrify the digitization of the United States. The interesting thing is, also, when Biden got announced into office, he did automatically come out with the crypto tax, which then coincided with the crypto crash. According to one report, applying blockchain technology to electricity microgrids can potentially promote the techno-socioeconomic innovations for the restructuring of the sustainable energy supply chain by enabling distributed energy source coordination. Bitcoin mining efficiency and sustainability, or sustainable electricity here. So you got the fleet electricity consumption, Q1, Q2, 3, and then the BMC. And then over here, hash rate, Q1, Q2, Q3. Ethereum, the most widely used blockchain, recently switched to the more eco-friendly proof of stake consensus algorithm through its merge event. Ethereum's move from proof of work to proof of stake has reduced the amount of electricity the Ethereum network consumes by over 99.988% and its carbon footprint by over 99.992%. Crypto adoption. The crypto market meltdown has attracted some of the largest asset managers to the digital asset space, including MassMutual and BlackRock, the latter of which has launched an investment trust tracking the Bitcoin price. It's at 19,349, 5 years after its CEO Larry Fink described Bitcoin as an index of money laundering. Also interesting, of course, the crypto market meltdown got these people on board because they created the crypto market meltdown. They saw crypto actually working. It was going to be amazing, and it is amazing. So they needed to be able to buy in. What's the best way to buy in? Shrink the price. And it is obviously, total manipulation in the markets. We can see the absolute destruction of the United States economy, the world economy. All of this stuff has to go down so way they can swoop it all up and become the white knight of all. Digital asset company Securitized Capital intends to tokenize $491 billion healthcare strategic growth fund 2 of assets management firm KKR and Charles Schwab Citadel. Fidelity Digital Assets and others are launching a new crypto exchange called EDX Markets, which is set to debut in November. Crypto exchange Coinbase, meanwhile, announced in September that it would financially back a lawsuit against the Treasury Department that claims it went too far when it sanctioned the Tornado Cash crypto mixing service. The feds are open to developing a central bank digital currency, the CBDC, that they've all been trying to push on us, where they will be able to now take your fiat dollars, make it all digital, and then they can run the entire world off of CBDCs. And if you step out of line, then they will just shut off your account. Meanwhile, the Treasury Department's September 2022 report, The Future of Money Payments, looked into stablecoins and CBDC, noting that there is a natural use case for a CBDC. The report considers the implications when it comes to building the future of money and payments, supporting U.S. global financial leadership, advancing financial inclusion and equity, and minimizing risk. And they, of course, will be installing the social credit score, so you are a good little citizen and you listen to everything that they say you have to listen to. Green NFTs. John Crane, co-founder and CEO of non-fungible token platform SuperRare, expanded on the implications of POS, proof of stake, telling me in an interview, artists have always been at the forefront of progressive causes. So proof of stake Ethereum is really a game changer in terms of solving one of the biggest issues in the NFT technology. We think this will be a boon to crypto art and expect it to only help the market thrive. This is absolutely positive, by the way. I was deep into the NFT market at the height of it, this last current wave, and it was crazy how many people were trying to push to go to Matic or Polygon due to the fact that it wasn't burning up tons and tons of energy. So this new switch to Ethereum that's proof of stake, once the NFT market starts to rally again, it's going to be a whole nother level, in my personal opinion. And of course, be on the lookout for regulation. Develop in accordance with Biden executive order on ensuring responsible development of digital assets. The White House recently issued a fact sheet outlining a regulatory framework for digital assets to protect consumers by issuing guidance, increasing enforcement resources, and aggressively pursuing fraudulent actors. The Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, also updated its guidance for the crypto industry regarding how people and companies can remain compliant with its sanctions against Tornado Cash, the Ethereum privacy mixer blacklisted due to allegations that North Korean hackers used it to launder funds. The department said people could request an OFAC license to withdraw their Tornado Cash connection funds. All right, we're going to go over these two XRP articles, then we'll jump over into the XRP charts. XRP flashes ultra bullish signal as Cardano's Hoskinson throws weight behind Ripple in this SEC case. Charles Hoskinson, Cardano's founder, has stated that he believes XRP is a commodity and not a security, giving some nuance on his stand in the SEC versus Ripple case after being pressured by some XRP adherents. And what's interesting is Charles was already on the Hill talking to Congress about crypto and about what is and what isn't a commodity or a security. So he actually has some weight, believe it or not, in the political side of things, not just in the crypto side of things. Obviously, you know, he's co-founder of Ethereum. Now he is the founder of Cardano. He pulls a lot of weight in the crypto world, but also in the political world because he's seen as someone who really knows what he's talking about in crypto, and also knows how to explain it to the powers that be. And he says here, I've always taken a position that most layer one protocols aren't security, Charles wrote in a thread of tweets on Saturday. According to him, Ripple offers utility, is decentralized enough to have operators and builders worldwide. And we just talked about that yesterday, how they become even more decentralized after the update to the ledger, and survives its founders, which disqualifies it as a security. It was thus bizarre and senseless for the SEC to invoke the Howey test to prove its case against Ripple. The merits of the case should rest on the absurdity of applying securities regulation to something that has millions of independent participants in more than 100 countries who cannot be controlled by any fiduciary of a single company, Charles added, suggesting that the SEC case would fail. And that is the beauty of the decentralization of the XRP ledger and that whole entire system. Regulators to blame for crypto regulatory muddle. Charles, who has taken a keen interest in the Ripple case since 2020, blamed regulators for shrinking their responsibilities, describing their behavior as the root cause of our industry issue. The legislative branch has been negligent in its duty to pass new laws to resolve the consequences of new technology. Regulators have to follow the law, he said. Without clear regulations, the crypto industry has been left at the behest of the courts and state agencies such as the SEC and the CFTC, who are divided on who should control the sector. According to Hoskinson, this outrage can only be solved through the enactment of bespoke regulations or the application of existing rules as regulators see fit, regardless if it makes sense or not. However, to him, the CFTC could be used to police the crypto industry since they are principles-based, market-oriented, and global by nature. Moreover, commodities survive those who aggregate them, he added. And XRP surges as Ripple win nears. Meanwhile, the optimism of Ripple winning against the SEC and the ongoing case growing, XRP continues to shine. According to the data from on-chain analysis firm Santiment, this week has been the network's highest number of new addresses created in 3 months. And here you can see XRP network jumps ahead of the markets and gains 5%, sees highest day of network growth since July 2nd. And here's the actual graph. XRP's daily new addresses created hit 2,200, rises back over 52 cents. And this is kind of interesting, right? Because most everybody else in the world doesn't even know how to create an XRP address. Obviously, there's a couple of places that you can get it here in the US, not financial advice, but you can use Uphold, or you can also transfer money to your KuCoin account and get it that way. And we will be jumping into the charts here of XRP in just a moment. So furthermore, despite the plunging of over 85% in June, XRP price has already recuperated by over 70%, breaking key resistance levels, which could be pivotal to the cryptocurrency surging towards its all-time highs. The cryptocurrency traded at 52 cents after a 4.69% increase in the past 24 hours. XRP is the 6th largest crypto asset by market cap of $25.9 billion. And speaking of jumping in price, like I said, we're going to be getting back to the charts, but look over the last, it actually goes all the way back to August 29th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we took a break, 5 weeks to the upside, looking really, really strong. Obviously, we have that week off there, but this big pump candle, lots and lots of volume, it did reject off the 50 moving average. This week, we do have 1 day, 2 hours left, still pumping to the upside, and we'll check that here in a moment. XRP Real Vision CEO Rob Paul believes court case will get resolved positively. In April 2020 issue of the GMI newsletter, Powell explained why he believes that Bitcoin, which he called the future, could one day have a $10 trillion valuation. In that issue, Powell said that the idea of a $10 trillion valuation for Bitcoin, not so. After all, isn't just a currency or even a store of value. It's an entire trusted, verified, secure financial and accounting system of digital value that can never be created outside of the cryptographic algorithm. It is nothing short of the future of our entire medium of exchange system and of money itself and the platform on which it operates. And as you may remember, on December 22nd, 2020, the SEC announced that it had filed an action against Ripple Labs and two of its executives, who are also significant security holders, alleging that they raised over $1.3 billion through an unregistered ongoing digital asset securities offering, XRP, when they sold that. So anyway, on Friday, October 7th, during an Ask Me Anything session streamed the Real Vision Finance YouTube channel, according to a report by the Daily Hodl, Rao had this to say about XRP. I'm long a bit. I think it's like a special situation, and I think the court case gets resolved positively and it goes up. It's actually a very used protocol by using Metcalfe's law. It's pretty decent. The only thing, Americans can't invest in it because it got taken off of the exchanges. But generally speaking, it does what it's supposed to be doing. It works as a payment transmission. I have no issue with it. There's plenty of activity on chain, and Metcalfe's law prices it appropriately to where it is. On September 21st, Stuart Alderati, who has been general counsel at Ripple since January of 2019, commented on the ongoing lawsuit against Ripple. He made his comments while speaking to CoinDesk TV's flagship show, First Mover. So Alderati told CoinDesk TV, I do believe that this policy in the United States of regulation by enforcement is a failed policy, and it's creating havoc in the marketplace. And that havoc in the marketplace ultimately hurts the very retail consumers that the SEC purportedly supports or protects. I think what we're seeing is power and politics elevated over sound policy, and that is not a good thing. To your question, why Ripple? That is a good question. I'm not sure I have a good answer to, but what I will tell you is that the lawsuit was filed on December 22nd of 2020, on the last day of the prior administration when Jay Clayton was the chair of the SEC. The day after the lawsuit was filed, Jay Clayton left office, and within 2 weeks of the lawsuit being filed, the entire senior leadership team that was, I think, involved in the decision to file the lawsuit left the SEC. So why Ripple? I'm not really sure. I think we can all venture a bunch of different guesses. Maybe the SEC was tired of playing whack-a-mole with some smaller tokens, and they felt that if they could go after Ripple and indirectly attack the digital asset XRP, which Ripple relies on to facilitate its cross-border payments, maybe they thought that that could send a broader message to the entire market. But I think what they've learned is that if you challenge a well-resourced company, that well-resourced company can put a very robust defense and really expose the SEC that what they're doing in this case is not applying the law. It's not a faithful allegiance to the law. They're seeking to remake the law, and they don't have the power to remake the law. Only Congress can remake the law. So jumping back to the charts over here, let's go ahead and take a look at the daily charts and see what's going on. So today, we have now had a slight downtick, down 0.58%. One thing that I did notice earlier when I was doing some charting before jumping on here, as we can see right here, we have this supply and demand box, this 4-hour supply and demand box. It also is exactly the opening here of a fair value indicator. So when we turn on the fair value gap, price could likely come fill that gap, bounce back off right here, off of that 49-cent mark, 0.49833. As we talked about yesterday, this is exciting because the 50 exponential moving average has crossed over our 1100 exponential moving average, and we are starting to see this really, really steep incline on the 4-hour. But also, as we take a look here on the daily, this is what excites me the most. You can see our 50 moving average. We have recently crossed to the downside here. That is a bearish cross here. That was back on May 29th, but XRP is already ready to rebound off of that. And we talked about yesterday how, you could see this potential of the continued rise and the breakthrough there within the next 30 days. The only thing that we talked about yesterday too is how Ethereum started to make the same move, faked us out, started to fall to the downside. Now, I do know Ethereum obviously has way different perspective on the market value. We all know, like we've just been reading the case about XRP, what it could be when the case ends. We could see an absolute explosion to the upside. I'm just showing you charting and what the charts are saying. There is a potential of that crazy run up like we did see. We had the W, the run up like we saw in Ethereum. And if we take a look at XRP, we are looking at something similar. Price came down, made a broad W here, ran up to the price here. We're going to continue watching this 50. Does it make it through and make the break? Because if it does, that's going to be very exciting. So as we covered yesterday, here we have the charts. Well, I mean, as we're talking right now, we are starting to get quite the push down at this exact moment here. We'll take a look at this 15 minutes and let's get rid of the fair value gaps. So right now you can see we did break under that 50 exponential. It rejected off and we're falling pretty hard. If it does continue this fall, that would be absolutely okay because it falls down to this supply and demand zone here, 49,833. Catch that as a support. That would be actually really, really nice. And what I'm saying that for is the fact that there is that fair value gap. I would rather that be filled now so we can continue the push to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on this. As you can see right now, there is a candle that had a wick down here that would actually be a support level. And if for any reason this does break that support level, we could see that finish drop down here, fill in that gap, and then start its way to the upside. So as we talked about yesterday, right now, what are we looking for? We're looking for price to continue to push up. And also, if you'll see here, if this does come down and fill this gap here, what it will likely do is, depending on how long it takes, this 50 moving average will also be coming up to meet it, and we could likely see a bounce off of it. So last time it had a little dip below it and then an explosion to the upside. Could we see that again on the 4-hour dip below, explosion to the upside? We do have two supply and demand zones that collide right here at this 47, 48 cent level. So obviously this one's 49 cents, but if we dropped into here, we have this box and this box exactly coinciding right here. Boom, test that level, make the move to the upside. What you will notice here on the 4-hour charts, when price breaks below the 50 moving average and kind of hovers there, once it breaks back above, it takes a nice ride. Look here, even nice ride, up, 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 comes down, takes a little look under it, nice ride up, comes under it, nice ride up. So, basically it comes and gets gas at this 50 moving average and then shoots to the upside. We have the positive cross here. We're looking at some really, really good potential signs of what's going on for XRP. Again, not financial advice. We're just using the charts here. What we would like to see is a bounce off of here, a recovery to the upside, getting to our breakout line here. Once we break above this 55 cent level, then we have the ability to take our move up to our next supply and demand level, which on the daily charts, if we take a look here, our next supply and demand level is right here at this box. We'll go ahead and fill in this box here. Skip the box again, this green candle there. And like we've been covering, 65 cents, right? So right now we're trying to break the 55 cent barrier, then the 65 cent barrier. And then as we continue to climb up our supply and demand zones, what do we have right here? The 75 cent barrier, right? And then as we continue to climb up, we go here and we have the 85 cent barrier. So as we've been talking, we have these 10 cent, we're trying to climb the ladder 10 cents at a time. And that's where we're looking for to the upside for XRP. Also to the downside, this is good news. We have all these 4-hour interference zones, but we do also have this larger daily supply and demand zone. If we want to take a look at this candle here, and that is that 46 cent level of support, just in case it does start to have a drawdown, right? And then if it breaks there, we would have a 44 cent, 43 cent bottom. And then of course, we always have the 50 moving average coming to the upside, could meet that along the way. So we'll follow this 50 where it's going. As we can see here, our market baseline is climbing very solidly in the RSI down here. RSI now, though, over the 70 territory, so it is overbought. So we have overbought here, overbought here. The interesting thing that we talked about, RSI, is it going to make a new higher high, which would have to be way up here? Well, price is on its way. If we're looking at bodies only, if we were to look at a line graph, which we can see here, price has made a new higher high. Okay, so this was a high price, came down, tested. Now it has a higher high price. But if we take a look at our RSI, RSI had a high RSI here, a lower one here. That would be a bearish divergence on the daily. But when we take a look here on our weekly charts, there's just still so much room, so potential to continue climbing all the way up here to overbought on the weekly, but we are now busted outside of our volatility band. So we may take a break next week. We will have to find out. So we're going to continue monitoring this. This gets a little bit iffy for me once we get this high. When you're seeing this push, that gets really exciting, right? So the opposite is true down here. We had the RSI climbing here, but we had our price flatlined here. So price was trading sideways while the RSI was climbing, compressing the spring. Boom, the spring released and went to the upside. We've also been talking about that on Bitcoin. It has something similar. Right now, RSI is climbing here on the weekly. So you can see the boom, right? So there's a increase in the RSI on the weekly while the price is continuing to trade sideways, but actually coming down. The only thing is this one really huge wick to the downside really messes with all the stuff we're trying to do here. We do want a new lower low. In order for us to have a new lower low to create a weekly bullish divergence, price has to come down below this one, and that was 17,567. Now, the main indicator, the main leading factor of all of the markets, in my personal opinion, is the Dixie, the dollar. Once we see the break of the dollar, we're going to see the absolute bull run of cryptos, of stocks, of everything. Right now, the dollar is the strength. That's where everyone's piling all their money into. They're hoarding the dollar because the dollar keeps on climbing. It's gaining value. Smart people are putting their money in that. And as you can see, the same exact thing here with the 50 moving average. It comes down, touches the 50, touches the 50, touches the 50, and continues going, right? Well, what we're looking for, we want to break below the 50 moving average, price start to come back down to reality. Right now, we're extremely high. And once we see this happen, we're going to have some really exciting things happening in the market. And we could take a look here on the weekly charts. We do have, a bearish divergence, but the dollar has been so strong, it only went down for a little tiny bit here. We need a solid bearish divergence to kick in and really start to move the markets down. The other thing we can look at, which we haven't done a lot of on the dollar, if we take a look here on the monthly chart, okay, so the monthly chart on the dollar, if you'll take a look here, we had a bearish divergence that signaled us right here on this candle. And this was back Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. Okay, and that created a really hardcore drop. There was a bearish divergence there, and then the extreme market drop. And we had this W pattern form. It gave us a hidden bullish divergence here, ran up, retested that zone, and it's been off. It's been look at that. It's like SpaceX, a rocket ship to the upside for so long now. On the monthly, the RSI is freaking oversold on the monthly. Absolutely nuts. It's over at 87. So we are waiting for the bearish divergence to appear on the dollar. Well, how could that happen? We would need the dollar to come down, right? The RSI on the dollar, we need the dollar RSI to come down. Then price would obviously follow along, and then we'd probably get another one large spike, one last push to the upside for the dollar, creating a new higher high. But the RSI would have a new lower high. And then we would have a monthly bearish divergence, and we can have the nice crash that we're looking for. And as we take a look here, this is the monthly chart. Obviously, the last time we had a hidden bullish divergence was back here in 2014, had the big push, right? Then a bullish divergence here, which was in 2016, nice push there. And these coincide with market crashes as well. And we have that going on right now. This one, this absolute massive bullish push to the upside, did not give us the bullish divergence on the Japanese candlesticks, but it did do it on the Heikinashi candle. So you always want to check both to see where the signal is hidden. Now, regardless, whatever's going on right now with the stocks and the markets and everything like that, one thing that you can never sleep on is making more money, right? A lot of you guys are like, I'm going to get rich off of XRP, or I'm going to get rich off of Shiba Inu. That is absolutely cool, but you cannot put all of your money into a lottery ticket of a crypto. You have to gain more skills. You have to get better. You have to be running a second job right now. You need to be making as much income as you possibly can, bracing for this economic collapse that they're saying, the great reset that could be coming. Before it happens, you want to have as much money on hand, so that way, if it happens, which it may not, but if a real hardcore crash comes, at least you have some safety net. So how can you make some extra money? Well, here's how you can make some extra money with the Bull Runners Club.